Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and today we are going to be talking about something that I don't talk about very often on this channel. In fact, I don't think I've ever talked about this on the channel. Yes, it is the Stratocaster, the Fender Strat. Well, actually, some of the players that we're talking about today no longer play Fender Stratocasters, but you get the idea. If you are new to my channel, please do hit that subscribe button. It is massively helpful, and leave me a comment below letting me know who your favourite Strat players are. And you notice there I used the word favourite because, of course, okay, the title to this video, I'm using the word best. There's no such thing as best. I'm talking about some of my favourite Strat players here, players that I think maybe are a little bit underrated. And yeah, I just like the idea of putting a video together that features a list of Strat players where I don't talk about Jimi Hendrix. You guys are going to go nuts over that, right? So first up, I just want to talk about the Strat. Now, I don't actually own any Stratocasters. The Strat is an iconic instrument, and the thing that I've kind of been reminded of in putting this video together is that there are so many great Strat players that all have such a unique sound, and I think that's a really cool aspect of the Strat. You really can make it sound lots of, vastly different ways, and you'll see from this list, there's some very different sounding players on here. I guess kind of like to add a Strat to my collection. In fact, my number one on this list, I would take their signature Strat in a heartbeat. But yeah, as it stands, I don't actually own a Strat. I personally find the Strat quite a difficult instrument to play. And I don't mean in terms of its physicality. I mean in terms of the sound. I mean in terms of the layout, where the volume knob falls, all of those types of things. I've always kind of geared towards more modern guitars and, of course, the Telecaster, which is a more primitive guitar. But, of course, I have a massive respect for the sheer amount of wonderful Strat players out there. So, as I say, I am not going to put Jimi Hendrix on this list. You guys are going to be annoyed about that. I'm not going to put David Gilmour on this list. I'm not going to put Mark Knopfler on this list. I'm not going to put Eric Clapton on this list. Rory Gallagher is not going on this list. Stevie Ray Vaughan is not going on this list. So who did make this list? So in at number 5, I am going to give some credit to Nile Rodgers. Nile Rodgers, an absolutely fantastic guitar player, musician, songwriter, producer, of course best known for his work in the band Chic. He has recorded, of course, many sessions, most notably in recent years, of course, he was with Daft Punk doing the Get Lucky single, which is a great track. But you go back in the day and you've got the David Bowie Let's Dance stuff, which is, again, you hear it and you just immediately know that that's Nile Rodgers. The recommendation that I'm going to give you, though, is my favourite track that he's played on is I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross. Now, this was on the 1980 album, Diana. That riff in the intro is just a phenomenally cool bit of guitar playing, like a wonderful riff. I transcribed this years and years ago on my transcriptions page on Facebook, and yeah, I still from time to time like to play that because it's such a great example of how relaxed one's picking hand can be when you're playing funk, or how relaxed one's picking hand should be when you're playing funk. So I think Nile is a fantastic player, and I don't think that he gets the credit that he deserves, despite the fact that he plays one of the most heard Strats throughout history. The guitar, which he aptly names the Hitmaker, was released by Fender in 2014 as a custom shop model. I'm not entirely sure if it's still available. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to get one. But yeah, if you're into Nile Rodgers and you want to get a replica of his Hitmaker, they're certainly out there on the market. So that's number 5. In at number 4, oh boy, you're going to be annoyed at this one. I'm going to put the incredible Yngwie Malmsteen here. And I have to, because to me, although Malmsteen hasn't done anything worth listening to for a very, very long time, you cannot ignore how influential his early records were. It's incredibly easy to look back now and say, oh yeah, well, he just plays a lot of notes. And sure, the guy plays a lot of notes, but he really ignited the guitar scene. He was a huge force to be reckoned with back when he initially launched in the early 80s. I remember stories from parents of girlfriends when I was a teenager who talked about seeing him open up for AC/DC. That's the sort of level of stadium gigs that he was playing. He was a huge, huge deal. In fact, such a huge deal that he has the first ever Fender signature model. Him and Eric Clapton had one, I'm sure it was Eric Clapton, on the same year. They both released the Malmsteen and the Clapton Strat. So yeah, classic Strat player, and I think those first 4, maybe 5 albums are all absolutely fantastic. My favourite song would probably be Rising Force from the Odyssey album, but the recommendation I'm going to give you to go and check out of his would be the song Liar from the album Trilogy. That was released in 1986. I picked that because although it's not my favourite song, it's my favourite album, and if you enjoy that song, check out the rest of the album. It's full of absolute fire. He's a great player, and sure, he plays a lot of notes, I'm not going to argue with that, but he has the best vibrato in the business, and I will fight to the death on that one. He has wonderful vibrato. He is a very passionate player, and I respect that. I don't respect where he is now, but you get the point. Of course, he has a signature Fender Strat. It is still available to this day. He has played it for the longest time. He does like to pretend that he has always played the Strat. That is absolutely not the case. He has had signature guitars with other brands. He had a signature guitar with Schecter. And who else did he have a signature guitar with? He had a signature guitar with someone else, not popping into my mind. But you can find these before he was with Fender. It did happen. Malmsteen, you've not always been a Strat guy. Next on the list, I'm going to talk about Scott Henderson. Now, this was a difficult one for me because Scott is a huge influence of mine. But all of the things that Scott does on the instrument, I kind of have to tip my hat to Jeff Beck. A lot of what Scott does with the Strat is Jeff Beck stuff. And that's true. I can't argue with that. So really, you kind of could put Jeff Beck in this spot. But then there's this other aspect of Scott's playing, which is wonderful too, with the kind of the authentic Texas blues thing. And again, when you listen to his album Dog Party, you're really just listening to a Stevie Ray Vaughan album on that particular outing. Fabulous record. I absolutely love it. So really, I've put Scott on this list because he's a kind of amalgamation of two great players. He is Jeff Beck. He is Stevie Ray Vaughan with a lot of the Scott Henderson and the jazz in there. I absolutely love Scott Henderson's playing, be it from the early Tribal Tech stuff and those first few Tribal Tech records. Dr. He is a big favourite of mine, and Nomad, the third album, I absolutely love. Those are very different to where Scott went when he went solo. If you're looking to check out some of Scott's stuff that might be a little bit more up your street and not fusion related, you have to check out, I would say, the first two solo albums he put out, Dog Party and 1997's Tore Down House. If you check out Tore Down House, there's a song on there called Dolomite. It has one of the best guitar solos you will ever hear, and it's a masterclass in building a solo from little dynamic to full all on out there. Scott has a fabulous tone. Reasonably confident on that particular recording. He's still using his Fender Stratcaster, but now of course he plays Suhr Strats. He has a signature Strat with Suhr, and if you want a great Strat, that'd be a great place to go because Scott Henderson is a man that knows and cares about tone. I absolutely love his playing. Please do, if you're unfamiliar, go and check it out. Number 2 on the list. Oh, this is going to be an odd one. We're going to steer a bit left field here. I'm going to go with Carl Verheyen here. So probably the least known on this list. Carl, best known for his guitar work in Supertramp. He is a session guitar maestro. He has recorded on hundreds, if not thousands, of recordings at this point. And that makes it a little bit difficult to pin down his exact guitars when he's recording things, because as a session musician, he plays lots and lots of different instruments. But he has a fabulous Strat tone when he uses a Strat. Carl is one of my bigger influences. I was lucky enough to have some one-on-one time with Carl many years ago, and what we talked about would really help me kind of understand and define the way I should be thinking about music and practicing music. I love the way he plays. I love his tone. He's one of the few people that I got to see do a masterclass in the shitty rooms at the Guitar Institute in London, plugged into their shitty amps, and he managed to EQ them and make them sound fabulous. Never seen anyone else do it. And yeah, that was a masterclass in tone. Again, another man that really cares about tone. There's a wonderful video on YouTube where he talks about how he finds great Strats. He hangs them up on the wall, he plucks the G string, and then he holds the guitar on the lower bout where you plug the guitar in, and you're looking for vibration. You're trying to see if you've got resonance, what he describes as a live one. So when it comes to recommendations for Carl's playing, any of his albums are going to get you there. But as I say, because he doesn't play Strats exclusively, you aren't really going to be sure if he's playing a Strat on a recording. So what I would recommend you check out is he has a ton of great videos on YouTube where you can see that he's playing a Strat. I'm a really big fan of the Goodbye Pork Pie Hat video, though is he playing a Strat in that? He must be playing a Strat in that. I'm not sure. Not relevant. His instructional videos though, Intervallic Rock, he plays a Strat on that, and you just fabulous tone and a fabulous voice on the instrument. Easily one of my favourite players, and I would love to bring more of his influence into my playing. He does have a signature Strat available. It's not with Fender, it's with LSL. So the Carl Verheyen signature LSL Strat, worth checking out if you're a fan of his playing. I absolutely love him. You should too. Number 1 on the list, and the guy that I'm going to be transcribing this month on my monthly transcription stream, Eric Johnson. Eric motherfucking King Johnson. Eric is a phenomenal player. Truly, truly underrated guitar monster. Absolute monster. And I firmly believe that. Sure, he gets a lot of credit, but I don't think he gets enough credit for just how good he is of a player. And he's a man, much like Carl Verheyen, much like Scott Henderson, and to a degree, Nile Rodgers and Malmsteen, he is a guy that loves and respects tone. So when it comes to Eric's sound, he is well known for having an incredibly unique clean tone, very rich, bright, clean tone, which, you know, a classic Strat sound. But the thing that's fascinating about Eric Johnson is I still, to this day, will argue with anybody, he has the best overdrive tone in the business. I don't think anybody's overdrive tone pleases me as much as Eric Johnson's overdrive tone does. It's just outrageously thick, and I love that he gets such a thick sound out of a guitar that has single coil pickups in there. And it's it's a difficult one, of course, because, you know, Carl Verheyen, he plays many different guitars. He is often seen with SGs and 335s. He plays everything, but we know he's a Strat guy too. So a lot of people will tell you that he doesn't actually play a Strat on Cliffs of Dover. That may well be true. And that's why when it comes to the recommendations, I'm going to encourage you to go and check out the Live in Austin. You can watch it all on video, actually, on YouTube. Originally, that concert was in 1988. I think it was released on DVD and CD in 2005. You can, as I say, check the entire concert out on YouTube. If you are short for time, maybe check out Cliffs of Dover. But if you've got a little bit more time, my favourite track on there would probably be Trail of Tears, and beautiful, beautiful song with a nice masterclass in how Eric uses his clean tone, some of the tricks that he has at his disposal. There's the wonderful cascading artificial harmonics that he does in that beautiful clean tone, and there's some blistering lead work in that particular track. And yeah, for that whole concert, he plays the Strat, and it's just absolutely immaculate. The entire concert, he's just, you watch him play and you're like, wow, how is he doing the things that he's doing here? And it's for that reason I think he's incredibly underrated. So that is my list. I didn't feature Jimi Hendrix. I didn't feature David Gilmour. Now, these are all players that I love and respect. But in terms of what I'm looking for when I listen to players and inspiration, I think you can probably see where I'm coming from here. None of these guys could be considered the best, but they're huge, huge influences on me. When it comes to guys like Gilmour, you know, he's a great player, and he's got some vocabulary that I've absolutely stolen. But in terms of the music that I'm really interested in listening to, Eric Johnson's just a little bit more me. There's a lot of fire in his playing. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to catch some flack for that, but you know, as I say, fire in that comment section below. Worth mentioning, Eric Johnson does have various Fender signature Strats. He's had signature Strats for a long time. He has the standard version. There is a 54 Virginia version, and now he has one with an F hole in it. We'll just pretend that one doesn't exist. I would love Fender to send me one of those. So Fender, if anyone over there is watching this, please send me an Eric Johnson Strat. It would be very much appreciated. I don't see it happening, but if anyone wants to give me one, that would be fantastic too. Yeah, still, as I say, not a Strat guy, so it would never be a main guitar, but if I could sound like Eric Johnson just for a day, I would be a very, very happy man. So, who are your favourite Strat players? Let me know in that comment section below. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to my wonderful supporters over on Patreon. I could not do what I do without your love, kindness, generosity and support. So if you would like to support the channel, there is a link in the description where you can become a patron for as little as $1. Or you can pay a little bit more and get a little bit more. Lots of stuff you can get in return, transcription downloads, you can get your name in the credits, you can get access to private streams, you can even have private monthly lessons with me. And we can learn anything that you want to learn. Alternatively, you can head on over to Amazon, check out one of my books, and yeah, that's a great way to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and if you do have any questions, please do let me know. As I say in that comment section below, hit the like button, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will see you for another video very soon. Goodbye.